September 1st. Tomer Bar-Zeev, Unity's president of growth, sells 37,500 shares.
Huh.
Shlomo Dovrat, board director, sells 68,454 shares.
It's weird.
September 6th. John Riccitello, Unity CEO and infamous scummy EA man, sells 2,000 shares in Unity. If those names, or if that name doesn't ring a bell, noted for once saying, as an EA exec, when you're 6 hours into playing Battlefield and you run out of ammo in your clip, we ask you for $1 to reload, you're not really very price sensitive at that point. A consumer gets engaged with a property, they might spend 10, 20, 30, 50 hours on the game, and when they're deep into it, they're well invested. We're not gouging, we're just charging, and at that point in time, the commitment can be pretty high. But it's a great model, and I think it represents a substantially better future for the industry.
He's also the guy who Suda51 and Shinji Mikami hate for ruining what they wanted to do with Shadows of the Damned.
Which then led to him being literally the villain of No More Heroes 3.
Mm-hmm.
September 12th, after the liquidating of shares, Unity announces the runtime fee, charging devs 20 cents. It's 20 cents per each game installation past 200,000 or 200K in annual revenue on the personal and pro tiers. And that threshold changes to 1 million and 2 cents per install, or 1 cent if you're on the pro and enterprise tiers. Excuse me, I meant to say personal and personal tier for the first one. The second ones are now the pro and enterprise tiers. Any developer who's been hitting that threshold already, starting January 1st, will have to retroactively pay for any of these conditions that have been met.
Well, that's okay, Woolie. That's not that big of a deal because Unity's TOS states that you're only beholden to the TOS of the Unity version that you ship with. So any game that shipped with 2023 Unity or 2022 Unity is beholden to the version of that TOS as long as you don't update.
Oh, do you mean the TOS that was pulled down and removed so that nobody
yes, I
could
do.
see
Yes,
it?
I do mean that, actually.
Oh, well, looks like that TOS doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, but everyone who ever made anything with it has a copy in their documents? What the fuck do they think that's gonna do? Nintendo doesn't have the fucking TOS and contract written down for when they made a Pokemon game?
The answer to what do they think they're gonna do is get fucking filthy rich while also knowing that this is a tanking move, because you don't sell shares if you have confidence what's about to happen is going to be popular.
So the best part about this is it's been theorized. The actual point of this is that they want everybody on mobile to use their ad platform, because if you use their ad platform,
yes,
hey, look, your runtime fees are waived. But they didn't actually consider the knock-on effects of what it would mean to have to tell Nintendo that every time Pokemon gets installed, Nintendo owes them a quarter.
I don't think it's not that they didn't consider it. I think they did. I think they just don't give a fuck. And the mobile attraction is such a fucking bank opportunity that they're like, we're doing this anyway.
No,
right?
I don't know about that, because I'm not a lawyer. Putting my hands up here. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. But I do know that you're not allowed to change contract terms
once they've been
signed.
Yeah.
You can't. You just can't.
And so welcome to the world of end user license agreements that are not actually enforceable in court, to the realm of NDAs that can be questioned depending on the circumstances they were signed under, and now runtimes that are installed with each copy that are going to connect to a server and install the latest version, because that's the only place to get it. The offline version in many cases is made unavailable, or they make you jump through a lot of hoops to get any copies of that, right? When you are on mobile, if you are switching over from a competitor to Unity, they're going to waive the fees, and they're going to give you unspecified credits in some way as well. And they really want you to use that baked-in ad platform. So it's very much a push towards getting people over from the insanely lucrative mobile market. But the knock-on effect is that literally the entire indie video game industry is being fucking lit on fire, because Unity was kind of the affordable solution to indies using something like Unreal Engine, which was really expensive.
Well, you know, Woolie,
and there was also a ton of plugin support and stuff, and a community that was helpful.
so you're like 20 cents a runtime. Well, that's not that big of a deal. Well, I mean, except for that old 4chan meme where you just pirate a game 100 times and that loses the company money is now real, because they said that they would work with developers to determine whether or not runtimes were legitimate. But ignore that.
So Stephen Totillo goes in on the same day to get some clarification. And they do, in fact, confirm to him, if a player deletes the game and reinstalls it, that's 2 installs and 2 charges. Same if they install on 2 devices.
Runtime.
Charity games bundles are exempted from these fees.
Well, they are?
Unless you're Planned Parenthood, in which case,
Or the Children's Hospital.
No, that's political, so that doesn't count. But for the rest, sure.
That's right. The Children's Hospital, the most political organization in the world.
The day proceeds, and Unity regroups and revises, and then comes out and says they'll only be charging for an initial installation. Reinstalls won't count. A second device, however, will in fact count as a second fee.
I have a question. How is Unity tracking these installs?
Says here, source, trust me, bro.
It wouldn't happen to be illegal malware, would it?
What?
Based off the malware company they just bought?
What? Iron fucking Iron rootkit? No. What? No. Oh, wait, hold on. The name earlier, Tomer, the president of Growth, previous owner of Iron Source, which...
Oh, Iron Source. Is that the malware company,
the one
right?
that... Is that actually how they...
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting. Random discussion popping up where... unverified, unsourced, but unsourced. That acquisition and everything involved was something that was besides John's decision making. They went public in 2020, and that led to a bunch of fuckwits getting on the board and then pushing this decision anyway. And they're saying that, this is possibly one of those things where if the CEO gets told to do it by the board, then the CEO is going to do it. But
I can put everyone at ease. You can all feel very comfortable blaming John Riccatello, a man who presided over deals that included selling video game technology to the United States Armed Forces to help drone strike people more effectively. I think we're all good to blame Riccatello for everything that you feel comfortable with.
So it doesn't matter at this point, because one thing I've said many a time is that when something like this comes immediately with a fucking tsunami of backlash, you have to assume that of course they knew it would, and of course they don't care, right? The expect even before it happened, it's like expect we missed the mark, we'll do whatever, we'll figure this out. But the point is as a declaration is made that like no. Like, we're coming for whatever we can legally get our hands on. And if we can't legally get our hands on it, then we will illegally get our hands on it. But you might just get a bill from us, Even if it's the same as like a FedEx or UPS bill that comes in the mail every couple months for something that you already paid.
Yeah, I can't see them actually attempting to collect this money at all, because it involves stuff like sending, like, so Obsidian's owned by Microsoft, right? So the Pillars games are made in Unity, right? And Pokemon is made in Unity. So this involves sending MiHoYo, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, probably Steam, bills for X shit zillion fuck dollars.
In fact, Sony with whatchamacallit, PlayStation Plus, because they did say that distributors, not developers, in the cases of Game Pass and things like that, would get charged.
Yeah, and it's like they're not gonna pay that.
Well,
they're not going to.
I mean, on the one hand, right, there's that, and then there's the other hand where it's like anyone who they can convince that they have to pay, they'll take it because that was money that they weren't getting otherwise. So, hey, guess what? The troll set up the booth at the bridge. If you stop to pay it, then good for you.
Marvel Snap is a Unity game, and that's a Disney property.
One time there was a dude who set up a toll booth at a library and took $5 for parking for anyone who pulled in, and he did it for like 10 years.
Yeah, and he didn't work at the library.
He just suddenly disappeared.
Yeah, no, we're watching a class action lawsuit like begin to form.
I mean, so before that, right, we need to find out how far we missed the mark, because, lo and behold, yesterday they were like, we have heard you. We apologize for the confusion and angst the runtime fee policy we announced on Tuesday has caused. We are listening, talking to our team members, community, customers, and partners, and we'll be making changes to the policy. We will share an update in a couple of days. Thank you for your honest and critical feedback.
It doesn't matter. You can't work with people who say they can change your contract at their whim.
I'm literally I'm like, there are multiple indie devs that I've talked to over the last week that are
oh yeah.
So I guess my game plan is to just rush to finish something, put it out, and then on January 1st delete it from existence.
Devolver devs and like I remember the Cult of the Lamb guys were like, "Hey, enjoy Cult of the Lamb now because we're fucking deleting it on Jan 1st forever."
I mean,
and watching Dave Szymanski learn how to fucking program in Godot or Godot, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, like Godot live.
Yeah, Ivy Sly literally a week before this happened had a screenshot of Unity going, "Well, here goes nothing." Quote tweet a week later, "Never mind." I mean, the someone made a tweet that was like, I think it's something to the effect of like taking psychic damage out the idea that Silksong needs to be delayed another 3 years to be ported.
Guess what? The Team Cherry liked that.
Team Cherry likes the fucking tweet, and you're like,
no, don't do it. No.
It's the ramifications are endless, and if it's not obvious, like, this is a situation where a lot of games that are made by a small team, if not a super small individual, will start out under that threshold and stay there, but then sometime incredibly randomly blow up, right? A Among Us type situation happens where you go from being a tiny game that is actually under that threshold to shooting way the fuck past it into a range where you can't afford what the fuck is being retroactively charged of you,
So we have some folks in the chat pointing out some information that most of the people who worked at Unity did not know this was going to happen until it happened, and are understandably super pissed. I didn't even so I knew that prior and didn't think to bring it up because that's always the case.
Yes,
for every decision made that's bad by a company ever. The only difference is people either don't know about it at all, or they actually just straight up said in a meeting, do not do this. It will be a big disaster. And then they do it anyway.
Yeah, well, the ones who did know sold their shares. And the ones who didn't found out when it was announced that morning, of course. Now, there was some follow-up instructions, apparently, however, where some Unity employees apparently were told to only tweet positively about the policy, and that, of course, led to them getting blown the fuck up over that. And
and then after getting blown the fuck up over that, some intrepid Unity developer decided that they would threaten to blow everyone the fuck up and called in some death threats at their office because they were so fucking mad.
Which then leads to the fucking shutting down of the office and the shitstorm that comes with
it's coming from within the house.
Fucking insanity, But it's just like it's one of those moves where you're like, today I'm just gonna wake up and punch myself in the balls, and I don't care.
Monday.
You can't stop me. You can't, no matter what you fucking do, you will never stop me. And then a bunch of your bros are like, well, time for me to sell my stocks in ball punching. Got to get out while it's hot. Which I'm like, isn't that like exactly what Yuji Naka just went to jail over? Basically, like isn't it exactly what just went down?
This reminds me, a little while ago, I ran into a video game developer, and I'm not going to say from what company, and we were shooting the shit, and I asked them about a canceled project at their company, and they looked at me like I had just taken a shit on the floor, and then their expression changed to them wanting to take a shit on the floor. And they just kind of like, they did that eye close and head shake thing, and they were like, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it always is. No one, aside from that top 1%, ever makes any decision.
Man, like, I went down the row of indie fighters at Evo and had a really nice time just chatting and getting
You good there? You good?
I see. Message received, loud and clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, just a row of people with bright eyes and hopes for their projects and what they're gonna do and where they're gonna port them and how it's gonna all that shit was going down, and it's like everyone in every indie team across the fucking industry is just all hands on deck. How do we prepare ourselves for the imminent collapse of the foundation that we built our house on?
Yeah, and it's super wild. The whole, like, Unity has been a beloved engine that works really well and can port to a lot of things, and people have been really happy about it and built a lot of their lives on it, and are now just struggling to get as far away from it as fast as possible.
So yeah, and this is the only thing, like I said it when in an earlier clip, but like, if you have moments like this where it's such a clear and obvious fucking nightmare decision, there's a lot of people that are single-minded and have a single need, and that need is to A, get their shit off of Unity onto like something like Godot, or B, get their shit off of Unity onto something like Unreal or just something, and then of course there's C, like fucking lawsuits and or roll back the situation. But in the meantime, you need to make sure that you put years of work into something that doesn't just become fucking nothing, right? A lot of the time, if you're a small team that's, bigger than one or two people, but smaller than a fucking, AAA or III, you're in a place where you're hedging your bets, and then you're taking that hit to develop, and then hoping that the results will sell enough and make back up for the costs. So I imagine this much concentrated focus towards a solution, there must be, right, there hopefully is something that can help usher people out of this fucking burning house.
I'm seeing a lot of people talking about Godot.
Right?
I had never heard of Godot up until the day of the Unity announcement.
Yeah.
And now it's all I see on my fucking social media timeline.
So Godot, I first heard about it with Yomi Hustle, right? Your Only Move is Hustle was built on that, and I think that was like probably the first time I think I saw
Cruelty
that logo.
Squad and Cassette Beasts are made in Godot.
Sick. Yeah, it honestly is like there's a little bit of a Linux situation to it where the Unity universal support was just so large and all-encompassing. I know people that use it for things that are just not even related to making a game. I used it for the VTuber rig that I was
well,
doing
guess
stuff with.
what? Don't install that VTuber rig, or you owe them a quarter.
No, I don't think 200K is happening anytime soon.
Yeah, 200K people watch that stream eventually. I bet that's money.
Yep.
Give them the money.
They're going to take their cut. No, that's exactly it. And so it just had so much ground support for people going from like a school or like game design class straight into making their own shit, straight into porting it or whatever. Yeah, I said it when it happened with fucking the Star Wars game, and it happens with For Honor, and it happens with any time a fucking microtransaction or some shit's too expensive or egregious. Your outrage is factored into the price. Your outrage is factored into the plan, and the response as well is just rolling alongside.
I feel like this one's actually different because the act of change is the problem more than any specific, right? It's like there's like changing the thing to 20 cents per runtime is enormous, but the core of it is the change in the contract. So there's no reason they can't just say, by the way, everyone who owns a game on Unity owes us $1 million.
But I mean, that's the obviously batshit insane part that is massively an oversight by everyone on their legal team. Yes, and again, we're not lawyers. I'm assuming that's going to be the stopping point or an issue for them to overcome. But the egregious ass charge is very much a clear, well, if you don't want to pay 20 cents per install, perhaps you should upgrade to the enterprise tier,
which is thousands and thousands of dollars instead of
you pay thousands per month instead of the hundreds, and then you end up paying less. You pay 1 penny off of the install instead of the 20, right? It's a classic fucking freemium scheme where, you get more fucking Baphomet points by going further up the chain on it. So
I think
that 20-cent price point is meant to piss you off, and like the relief is actually supposed to come from the more expensive plan.
I think that this decision was made with very little foresight, and that did not expect two things. One, the amount of possible litigation they would have to deal with, and two, the amount of people willing to take their ball and stabbing it with a knife and bursting it and saying, I will go get a different ball.
Yeah, but you don't sell your stock when you have faith in the decisions that are coming down.
Of course not. But whether or not the company does well is immaterial. If the company does so badly that it has to get bought, then all the people who run the company get golden parachutes as buyout packages.
Yes.
So
the goal of the CEO,
what's the downside?
The goal of the CEO is to roll in, increase the value of the company, make it get the IPO.
No, it's not.
And
the goal of the CEO is to torpedo the company into the dirt so that it gets picked up by Embracer Group and you get a nice bonus.
The point is to get a sale of the company, and get the fuck out on a parachute. That's what
the CEO is for. Yeah,
it's the mission and whatever. But like, if you in a lot of cases, there'll often be these discussions about like, oh, and by having a part of your bonus or a part of your parachute or whatever your deal hooked up is with shares, then it's like, oh, you've got skin in the game. Therefore, if you torpedo this too aggressively in a way that is damaging to all of us, you damage yourself. So your self-interest is going to keep you greedy enough to push everything in a way that this won't backfire.
So like, let's take Embracer Group, right? Like Embracer Group goes, hey, we're going to buy everybody, and that'll make our sale price really big for when a bigger company buys us. And then they don't get bought by the big company, and they go, well, shit, we only bought this stuff so we could get a bigger price for the bigger company, but now the bigger company's not going to buy us. So just kill everyone at all these studios. Just burn the studio down. Yeah, don't want to spend money on them. Fuck it.
Again, the Embracer Group version of that is goes hand in hand with the fact that their Saudi deal fell through, and then they could not afford the fucking shit that they took in, and then it all goes to shit. But ultimately, it's very clear that CEOs do this type of shit and then coast the fuck out of the burning airplane every time. In this particular instance, again, I think all the intention is displayed in the act of selling the shares beforehand. I think that says everything you need to know about the people who made the decision. And now we're going to see whatever the fuck this news is. It might even happen, today, tonight, or whatever. But I don't see them just going, never mind, we're completely rolling it back. Sorry.
Even if they did, right? That's what's so crazy about the situation. Even if they completely canceled all of it, people who started to port their games to different engines or look into Unreal or Godot or whatever are not going to go, it's fine then. And go back. It's too late.
Annihilated, of course.
It's like, hey, Woolie, you tell your wife, hey, honey, I'm kind of sick of this. I'm going to go out and fuck some prostitutes. And then you're getting dressed, and you get your condoms in your wallet, and you go, you know what? You seem upset. I'll stay home.
Is it the condoms? Yeah,
was it? You know what? The whole thing? The whole thing? Okay, you know what? I'll stay at home. Don't you worry about it.
Now, yeah.
That's exactly what it's like.
It's just whatever this fucking, legendary walkback ends up being. I think the other part that, has come up as well has been that, looking at the I guess the profitability of Unity as a company and how that has been like struggling, and I think someone was kind of, there was something where they're kind of showing like John took over in 2014, and it's kind of, again, it's gotten positioned into a place of being the affordable answer to indie devs platform needs, and that by being that role, it has not been the most profitable that it could be, right? And so I see this sort of wild ass greed, fucking short-term gain, long-term who gives a fuck play as one that is like, they're going to change something. They're going to make something drastic happen, because they are clearly not down to keep it the way it is. And whenever you call in an optimization specialist, someone who's going to fucking, right? Whenever you find that they're going to look at it and go, what is something that we were not looking at beforehand? And it's like, oh, the amount of people installing each thing, that's a number that's very high, right? Where can you put a price point on something that happens very often? Reloading guns, that happens very often. Let's put a price point there. That's all it is.
I'm not an economist, so take this with a grain of salt, but this is we're starting to see this more and more often in the video game industry, but you see it kind of all over the place, where companies for some reason like make some kind of big decision that like completely torpedoes themselves into the ground, or incur some massive loss over the chase of like somehow more money. And it's the idea of exponential growth forever, right? Like, which is great for, I don't know, for the 50s onwards, but like you kind of hit like the carrying capacity of any particular audience. So like, let's take a McDonald's, right? Okay, I got McDonald's in one town. Well, I can serve the people in this area. X amount of people can have a McDonald's burger, and people want McDonald's. Okay, we'll serve them. You know, okay, there's actually enough audience in this town for 2 McDonald's. Okay, great. You got 2 McDonald's, right? Okay, now you have 400 fucking thousand McDonald's in every single town in the world. And you go, well, how do I make more money? It's like, but you're making one shit zillion trillion bajillion dollars a minute. Do you really need to make more money? Well, you need to make more money every day. But there's no more people that can have McDonald's. What if we filled the McDonald's with tapeworms? And then people would be hungrier. Okay, oh, people don't like the tapeworms? Oh.
Here we go. The company hasn't yet announced the latest changes because executives are still running them by partners. There's some updates happening as of 5 hours ago.
I can only imagine the conversation of like some fucking middle manager has to come in and be like, so people are very upset about the thing you announced. Well, okay. Don't worry about it though. We're gonna be making so much money. It's like,
so Jason Schreier is reporting that they're considering the changes will to include a cap on potential fees. So
they would have to give people money back now for people to even consider it.
Under the tentative new plan, Unity will limit fees to 4% of a game's revenue for customers making over $1 million, and said that installations counted towards reaching the threshold won't be retroactive.
It doesn't matter. It like, I mean, honey, I'll buy you a nice piece of jewelry if you just forget about me saying I was going to go out with those prostitutes.
Well, I mean, hey, it's at least we have another masterclass in torching goodwill, and how literally 10 years of it in 1 week, actually.
Oh, yeah. Incredible. Yeah. Like remember earlier this year we had like Dungeons and Dragons fucking its own ass, and that was really bad.
Damn.
Wow, that looks like a joke compared to this shit. This is the worst ever.
Don't fuck your own ass, companies. Don't do it. Yeah, so it's ongoing, I suppose, but
what?
We'll see.
So we're gonna see change. We're gonna see updates to the story for like 6 months, and every time we see an update to the story, my brain will go, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't. No, people's minds have been changed. It's too late.
Let's see here. The stock selling is overblown, was it? This part of the story has been misleading. Officers
they have millions of shares.
Have a schedule of trade stocks well in advance. The amount Rich Teller sold a tiny fraction of his complete holdings. That is, it did say what is it, 2,000, was it? That is significantly less than the others who were at 37.5K and 68.4K respectively, however. Mm-hmm. I mean, for whatever it's worth, his sale of shares is a fraction of theirs, but I still all think it is indicative. Yeah. Well, good luck.
This has like big Unity. Lucille Bluth energy on it. Like, how much could a banana cost? $10? Right? Like, doesn't it?
Yeah. Fucking Bill Gates with the pizza rolls or whatever. Like, Bill Gates is like, I don't know, $30 maybe.